Joe Biden wants to install 500,000 electric vehicle charging cords across the country by the year 2030.
We're going to replace with clean electric vehicles made right here in America by American workers, creating millions of jobs.
Get ready for a shockwave as Biden warns all EV makers to get ready for the transformation of American streets into a high-speed electric heaven. Ever wondered what it would be like if American streets were filled with electric cars instead of the usual gas guzzlers? Well, President Biden sure has, and he's on a mission to make it happen. But here's the thing, it's not just a dream, it's a big, ambitious goal. Did you know the Environmental Protection Agency set a wild goal that 60% of all cars sold in the US should be battery powered by 2030? That's a massive shift from the 6% the US has now. And it doesn't stop there. They're aiming for a whopping 67% by 2032. The current EPA proposal ignores real-world consumer demand and goes too far, too fast. How about the average consumer who cherishes their gas guzzler? Well, it appears the shift to EVs might snatch away the freedom to choose your ride. And what about the financial aspect? EVs aren't pocket-friendly, and the upfront cost might strain many wallets. Now, Biden isn't just talking the talk, he's walking the walk with jaw-dropping billions of dollars in investment in the EV scene. That money is meant to boost EV production, create jobs, and make the US a heavyweight in the EV and battery game. But why is he so enthusiastic about EVs? Is it just because they look cool? Well, not exactly. There are some big reasons, and we'll be unraveling them in just a moment. So pay attention, because we're about to take a closer look at President Biden's shocking warning to all EV makers. Stay tuned as we reveal all the story. The Inflation Reduction Act has put a whopping $92 billion investment into the EV scene. This money is going into making more electric vehicles, creating jobs, and boosting the US in the electric vehicle and battery game. But why is Biden so into EVs? Well, there are a couple of big reasons. One is the environment. These vehicles are seen as cleaner and greener, helping to reduce carbon emissions. Another reason is money. By making more EVs, the US can depend less on other countries for oil and compete better in the EV market, especially against big players like China. But here is the twist. In a future dominated by electric vehicles, there is a threat to the EV market because China holds the key to EV production with essential materials like lithium, cobalt, graphite, and nickel. If these vital materials become scarce, the promising EV revolution may slow down, prices skyrocket, and car makers face shrinking profit margins. Switching to electric vehicles sounds cool, but there are some challenges and concerns that come with it. So let's take a closer look. First, not everyone is excited about EVs. Some folks still love their gas guzzlers and don't want to be told what to drive. Then there's the money part. EVs can be expensive, and not everyone's wallet is ready for it. Imagine your dream car, but it costs a lot more just because it's electric. That's a tough sell for many people. Practical stuff is also a concern. What if you're on a camping trip, all happy and enthusiastic, and suddenly your EV's battery decides to take a nap in the middle of nowhere? Not fun. Additionally, charging stations for EVs aren't as common as gas stations, and waiting for your car to charge is about as thrilling as watching paint dry. So here's the scoop. Not everyone is jumping on the electric vehicle bandwagon, and it's causing some problems. Big companies like General Motors and Ford had plans for awesome electric cars, but it seems like people aren't buying them as expected. These car companies are scratching their heads, wondering where all the EV fans disappeared to. General Motors even pumped the brakes on expanding their electric pickup truck production, and Ford hit pause on a huge chunk of their planned $12 billion EV investment as they grappled with demand. These are not small moves. They're like big red flags waving in the face of the EV revolution. Just a year ago, EVs were flying off car dealership lots within a few weeks. However, today's data reveals a stark change, with these vehicles now staying for over a month, despite lower prices, federal tax credits, and appealing leasing options. A significant development occurred when Honda and GM terminated their partnership aimed at building affordable EVs. The reason? Business uncertainties cast a shadow over the viability of such ventures. Even the trailblazing electric car giant Tesla reported a notable dip in third quarter net income, dropping from $3.29 billion to $1.85 billion compared to the same period the previous year. To counteract this, Tesla has adjusted prices to spur sales and clear inventory in the current quarter. Fewer early fans are buying electric cars now, and others are hesitating. Why? The economy's uncertain, there aren't enough charging stations, and electric cars still cost more than regular ones. The Biden administration fulfills its commitment to enhancing the U.S. electric vehicle charging network, allocating an additional $2.5 billion in federal funds. The focus is on extending coverage in lower income and rural areas to reduce automotive carbon emissions. Charging stations seeking federal grants must adhere to Made in America content requirements. Additionally, Ford secured substantial support from the U.S. government, including a $9.2 billion loan from Biden's Energy Department. This funding aims to facilitate the construction of 3 electric vehicle battery factories, contributing to Biden's mandated shift towards electric vehicles. Ford aims to scale up production to approximately 2 million EVs annually by 2026, a significant increase from the 132,000 produced in 2022. Meanwhile, in Michigan, GM is set to receive $824 million in incentives for its newest EV and battery initiative, a project expected to generate 4,000 new jobs while retaining 1,000 existing positions. You know how it is in politics. One person says one thing, and then the other guy jumps in with the exact opposite view. In this topic, former President Trump views EVs as a threat to traditional jobs and the economy. In his perspective, these electric vehicles pose a risk to the auto industry, potentially cutting jobs and, according to him, are too costly while lacking sufficient range on a single charge. Contrastingly, Biden, the current president, champions the cause of EVs with enthusiasm. To him, they are integral to a grander scheme aimed at environmental and economic prosperity. Following his vision, Biden is advocating for stringent regulations, envisioning a future where the majority of new cars hit the roads in an electric stride within the next decade. President Biden wants more electric cars, but it's not going as smoothly as planned. In 2021, President Biden took a huge step by signing a law about the country's infrastructure. He set aside a huge amount of $7.5 billion just for electric car chargers. This wasn't random. It's part of his plan to have 500,000 chargers all over the United States by the year 2030. It's like he's putting money where his vision is for more electric cars. Presently, the United States boasts approximately 180,000 chargers, as reported by the Energy Department. Among them, 41,000 are high-speed chargers, designed to address the pervasive range anxiety often associated with long-distance electric vehicle travel. The road to an electric future is full of twists and turns. We don't know if EVs will take over or if regular gas cars will stick around. It's like a race, and right now, we're not sure who's winning.